Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. We are built by Sparkies for Sparkies. Our vision is clear: make money, build wealth, be kind. Our mission is deliberate. We help electrical, solar, and aircon business owners generate revenue, drive profits, and control their time. If you would like to hear more about our program, please reach out. I'll chuck the link in the show notes and enjoy the podcast. We always hope it's beneficial for your business. We hope it cuts through noise and helps you understand what's important and what's non-negotiable. Thanks so much for all your support so far. We appreciate you. We love you. Enjoy the podcast. Sparky Coach Pod, Crowe here, coming at ya. This is part 2 of the power of business compounding, growing wealth over 20 years. You heard that correctly. The power of business compounding, growing wealth, building wealth over 20 years. Now, I would say on a overarching blanket to pin everyone in the same sort of market, most of us are going to want to be in business 10 to 15 to 20 years. And so often when you start a business at 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, counting up in the fives, whenever you start the business, it's so easy to get just trapped in and be like, oh, I'm going to lock in and I'm going to grow revenue and sometimes you forget to step back and look out and go, what could this thing achieve over 10 to 15 years? Most of you aren't running a hit it and quit it style of business where it's like, I'll come in, I'll do it for 2 years, then I'll go to the next thing, and then I'll go to the next thing. And so I think, like, what's the actual rush? You know, I get you've got to get out of certain stages of business, but if you speak to anyone who's grown wealth and built a business, it takes time. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. And that friend who sold the business for $50 million or $10 million or $20 million, they are the incredible minority. That is more than likely not your story. Not saying it can't be your story, not saying that can't be your goal. More than likely, your story is you're going to grow wealth slowly. You're going to build your business a little slower than you might have thought. And that's okay, because good things take time and good things take effort and good things are worth the wait. The problem with our generation, we don't wait for things. We don't want to wait. You know, I wish I could take myself back to grab myself by the shoulders at 20, and when you're 20 and 40 just seems so far away. 40, so old. Now I'm 42. So if you are younger than me, same age as me, or older than me, listen up. The power of business compounding, don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate that investment property you get for $500,000 now, for $1 million now. Don't underestimate the commercial property you buy now. Don't underestimate, here's the thing, if you take one thing and one thing only out of this pod, don't underestimate your business, the business you're building now. It can be an asset. It should be an asset. It shouldn't be something that's a drag to go to. If it is, you might want to check your work culture, who you're working for, who you're working with. Check your mental health. When was the last time you exercised? When was the last time you surfed? What's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing this if we're not building an asset? What's the point? What's the actual point? What are you doing? And if some of us are in such a rush to get somewhere to please someone that doesn't even care about us, and you're too busy thinking about what other people think when they're not even thinking of you. No one's thinking of you. No one cares. You're running your race. So stay in your lane. And you should be proud of what you can accomplish. And so many of us want to accomplish everything too soon. I want it in 3 years. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. And you probably can't have it now. And that's okay. Most good things take time. I got 4 points before I get into the power of compounding spreadsheet to show you a sort of different angle at it. If you want a copy of that, just please reach out to us, greg@sparky.coach or info@sparky.coach. We're more than happy to help you guys, because the better you get, the better we get. And the better we get, the better you get. So we're all in this together. And we hope every podcast blesses you on your trade God ordained destiny of making money, building wealth, and being kind. And we want to add another one into that: living life. Living life. What's the point of doing everything if you're not kind? And what's the point of doing everything if you're not living life? Oh, I made heaps of money, but I never saw my kids. Does anyone, does that want to be your story? I made heaps of money, but I'm 100 kilos overweight, 30 kilos overweight. Does that want to be your story? I made heaps of money, but I'm in my 5th marriage. Now, I'm not having a stab at anyone who's moved on. It's not about that. It's just saying there's certain things you can do to help the marriage you're in, and there's certain things that won't help the marriage you're in. What won't help is working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, coming home tired, coming home angry, complaining all the time, making no money, getting into debt, getting into further debt, and then staying around this toxic culture of I'm just working so hard. No one wants that to be your story. But if you're not careful, that could be you. And I know I know you don't want that to happen. I know that. So don't be that person. All right, here we go. I love this. 4 points. Actually, prior to that, point number 1, if you haven't listened to part 1, I would strongly encourage you to listen to part 1 after this, before this, hang up the phone now, whatever you got to do, but this is part 2. Also, before we get started, this is really interesting for me to talk about, but I recorded this. I had this session of like growing wealth and over 20 years and the power of compound and sort of on my heart. And anyone who is spiritual or on a journey, you understand exactly what I'm saying. And I just sort of knew it was mine to share. And I had it on my heart, and I was like, I'm just going to record this. The day was getting on, I'm like, I'm just going to record this. And then I scheduled the post for a week or so in the future. And then I really strongly felt, no, post this. This is a Wednesday afternoon. We don't normally post on Wednesday afternoon, our podcast and YouTube. So I just had this gut feel, no, now is the time, put it up. And I'm incredibly overwhelmed by the encouraging messages we've received. It's helped so many people see the forest from the trees. And thank you for your encouraging messages, first and foremost. But I want to highlight, what does this mean for your business? You know those gut feels you get? Oh, I'm worried about that person. I might chase up that person. I'm scared about that relationship. But you got that gut feel, that inherent like, oh, I can feel that I might need to make that phone call. I can feel that I might need to have that conversation. I can feel some tension. I can feel some hope. I can feel something. I might have to get out of my comfort zone and back my gut. Back my gut. And I want to encourage you to back your gut. So often, even this morning, I was driving home from Pilates. Do you guys know I do Pilates? Anyway, I was driving home from Pilates, and I had on my heart, this person, one of our members, just came to my mind. So I gave him a call. And I want to encourage you, if someone's coming to your mind or something's coming to your mind, it's probably for a reason. So you might just want to back that gut. Like, why did that person pop into your head? And just go for it, back your gut. I met my biggest client back in the electrical business days from backing my gut, making a phone call, turned out to be right place, right time, right environment, best client ever. This client is probably the best client you'll ever, out of everyone that we work with, all the many electrical, aircon, solar businesses, this client would sit at the top of the food chain, hold their own in anyone's business. Gut feel, made the phone call, got it done. Back your gut. Back your gut. All right, 4 points. Here we go. The system works. The system works. A system of growing 10, 20% every single year, setting those parameters of 20 to 35% net profit and your market wage. The system works. It's not fast. It might not be flashy, but it works. We measure every single job, every single hour, every single week until kingdom come. That's the rules. If you don't like it, I will say this. Our best performing members are so dialed in to our B-Summator, which is our break-even rates and how you chop and change and manufacture. I'm hesitant to say manipulate, but you guys know what I'm saying. There's ways you can move the needle there. Our best clients know what moves the needle with their break-even rates. Our best clients, and I should say this, our best performing clients measure every single job, every single day, every single week, and they don't tire of it. This is something someone in your business has to have their finger on the pulse. Do you think it's okay not to do that? I promise you don't. Now, I say this analogy all the time because it hits home. Imagine fitting a PowerPoint off and a board off and just walking away. Yeah, I think that works. I think it's good. Said no one ever. You're always double handling. I say that like Dr. Evil Laser. You're always double handling things. Your whole life, you're double handling things. But you're not double handling, you're testing. You're making sure. You're being super confident. No, that data point works. That PowerPoint works. That split system, it works. How do I know? I turned it on myself. My staff member turned it on. We've got an end of job checklist. The system works. It works. Now, if you don't like doing the same thing twice or multiple times, you're not going to enjoy life. What do you do every single day? Sleep, you eat, hopefully you make love to some extent, and then what else are you doing? Eat, pray, love. So what are you doing? Like, you're probably doing the same stuff repetitively, exercising repetitively. You're measuring your hours, you got to see it similar to exercising. It's great when you're doing it and you're feeling great when you're doing it and you're increasing your strength and performance while you're doing it. But if you stop doing it, what happens? How long have you got to hinge on, I used to measure those hours once, I used to exercise once? Your body will slowly return to a state of what it used to be. And so many people come into our program and they're like, oh my gosh, I can see the light. Bam, it's like the lights went on and I can see it. And then they veer from what works. And you've got to work out, why do you veer from what works? What is that in your genetic makeup? Is it a fear of success, a fear of failure, an ego? I don't need to measure. I know what I'm looking at. Is it an insecurity? Is it a time thing? So you got to know this kind of stuff. This sort of leads perfectly into my next point. So number one, the system works. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Number two, learn what obstacles you're up against and get to know them. What are you up against here? Once you start closing the week and closing the month, and oh my gosh, I can see everything. Then what? Obviously, we want to continue closing the week and closing the month. But you're going to come up against a barrier. Now, I want you guys, when you're probably driving now, you're probably watching this somewhere, what is the most common barrier you think comes up against? And you can say this for exercising, you can say this for the sport that you love to do, you can say this for your date night, you can say this for anything. The most common thing we understand, we see is, if you do something and it works, why do you veer? Why do you veer? And the most common one is either, no, it's common too, say it with me now, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I'm too busy. I'm too busy to care for my marriage. I'm too busy to spend quality time with my kids. I'm too busy to measure every single job. I'm too busy to coach soccer. I'm too busy to do what I love. I'm too busy. I don't have time. It's a tale as old as time. I don't have time. I'm too busy. You need to slap yourself in the face. You need to make time. You need to make time for what's important. This is your life and this is your fault. This is 100%. You got to take full responsibility for this stuff. If your business isn't performing, if your life's not performing, it's probably a part of it, your fault. So take responsibility for what you can take responsibility for. You can't control other people. You can control yourself. What are you up against? Busy, being lazy, lacking focus. You might be come down to I'm working in the business, I'm running on a treadmill, I'm on a hamster wheel, being too in, not great. Now, hear this. Being too in, not great. Because you're so bogged down by the day-to-day operations, you can't see the forest and the trees. You got to remove yourself on the business. Too much on the business or remove too far too soon or off the tools too soon or off your finger off the pulse too soon, too high too soon, too elevated too soon, too removed too soon, you are going to cook your business on a fry pan. If you think you can just leave something and she'll be right, and I know everyone I know has done this. Everyone I know has stepped out too far too early and they go, I need to rein it back a little bit. And that might not be your story. Off the tools, I needed some control here. When you get out of the office, your initial reaction or feeling, and when I say you've released all your office work, your initial reaction is, I'm going to the beach. I'm done. 10 years of hard work. I'm out. Check me out. Put a fork in me. I'm done. And it's usually detrimental to the business's operations. You got to have your finger on the pulse, or someone has to have their finger on the pulse. So what obstacles are you personally up against? I promise you it's too busy, or that's probably a main one. And then what in your identity crisis or genetic makeup, what makes you think that's okay? Because you don't do that in other parts of life. You don't. You don't do that. So why? What's stopping you? What's the real reason? What's the real constraint? It's not that you're too busy. It's not that you don't have time. It's something along the lines of you don't make time. Why? Why don't I make time? What is it in me that think that's okay? Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. I probably want to share the third one first. So go with me here. What's your habits around stress? Point number 3. What's your habits around stress? When you get stressed, what do? Some people shut down and some people turbo in. So when you get stressed, some people turn to eating. Some people turn to Coca-Cola. Some people turn to coconut water. We're going to get sponsored by these guys because my family spends a fortune on this stuff. What do? When you get stressed, what do? A lot of people either remove themselves fully and be like, I can't deal with it, or they go into the weeds and they start to care about things that don't matter. And you can do that personally or professionally. You start to be like, the dishes are here again. I got to sweep up again. Or you go like, that PowerPoint is $500,000 out of level. Get me, take it off and do it again. So what's your habits around stress? What do? Do you recognize these as symptoms of? They're symptoms of. It's not you. It's how you're reacting, how your body's reacting, how your mind's reacting to stress. So we need to change our relationship with stress. Not all stress is bad. Not all resistance is bad. Think gym. Think weights. Think you want to paddle a channel in some kind of nuts Ironman race. You're going to need to train. Training's going to hurt. It's resistance. Resistance training to perform. Not all resistance is bad. Now, this is probably what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a couple of things on this spreadsheet. I'm going to share my screen, and here we go. Bang, got my screen there. This is the power of the compound. Now, I want to say this. Let's say I've got $1 million revenue. We started at 500 grand in part 1. We're going to start at $1 million here. If I've got $1 million revenue and I compound 10% year on year, over 15 years, I'm at a 4 million revenue. If my net profit is 20%, I've got a yearly business profit. What's starting is 200 grand in year 1, pretty humble beginnings, I would suggest. And by year 15, I'm making $760,000 in the business, plus $170,000 as a market wage and super, if I'm still in the business at that point. And then my total profit is $930,000. Now, I don't know many people, if any people, that are unhappy with that result. So here's what I want to get to you. And now forget this even says 30% net profit. Look at this. Now I'm making 1.14 in the business. The business is making that. I got 170K market wage and super. I'm making $1.3 million a year total combined, like household trust company income. And my total profit to date is $11.5 million in 15 years. Obviously excluding tax and all that kind of stuff. Speak to your accountant. But this is psycho. This is amazing. If I told you you could do that in 15 years, you'd be like, show me where to sign. But a lot of people, you got to hear this. You have to hear this. So a lot of people are compounding 10% and their business profit might be 20. And maybe you've hustled and haven't made that much money in the first year. Maybe you haven't made that much in the second year. But by third year, hear this out. By third, fourth, fifth year, you usually have a pretty good year. And you have one good year, and then what do people think? What do you think? What you tell me, what do you think? When someone has a really good year, what happens? I just answer this in your head. Wherever you are, write it down. What happens? When someone performs for 1 year, what happens? You make 600 grand, $1 million, your business is profiting 350 grand. What do? What do most people do? They cash their chips in. Their lifestyle creeps up. All their holidays creep up. Their house creeps up. I would have settled for a 3-bedroom in that suburb over there. Now I want this other house. I want to increase my mortgage. I'm going to increase my borrowing capacity. I'm going to increase. I'm going to cash my chips in. The $20,000 lounge, I want it now. What used to be this is acceptable. Now I want this. Eating out, yeah, we're going to go turbo, psycho, eating out. You're never cooking again. We get cleaners. We pay for everything. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not a bad thing. But if it happens too early, it can be detrimental. So imagine stopping your story on year 2 or 3 with that kind of money and not rolling right down to the bottom. Imagine that. Can you imagine that? Imagine accumulating in year 3 or year 5, around, let's say year 4, around $1.5 million of profit between the business and your personal income. Imagine accumulating that and then spending it all and leveraging too hard and cooking yourself. Most people cash their chips in too early. Now imagine you were looking at this calculator and you were like, you know what? I know we got money in the bank. You know what? I know we could afford a bigger house. You know what? I know we could afford that different lounge. You know what? I know we could afford this. But if we just wait 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years, if we just delay some gratification, if we just slow down, if we just calm down, we can do some serious damage in the next 5 years. 5 years. You can do some serious damage. But most people have 1 good year and cash their chips in, or 2 good years and get greedy, or 2 good years, 3 good years, 1 good year, and then they change what they're doing. They forget what got them to the good year in the first place. And you need to watch this. You need to watch your habits, because it's discipline that's going to get you there. It's the slow burn, the consistent, the discipline, the 1 foot after another, $1 after another, measure 1 job after another, retain long-term clients, retain long-term staff members, look after your mind and your body and your soul. Look after your people. It's the 1 foot after another that's going to see the difference. Now imagine starting on $1 million revenue, increasing 10% year on year, which no one's going to have a problem with, pushing a consistent net profit of 20%, which is the business net profit, which is very, very achievable. That's not your North Star. That should be your South Star. That should be your minimum requirement. I will not accept anything less than this. And so we're going conservative here on this calculator. And I want to highlight this because most people will go, oh, imagine doing 100% year on year at 35% net profit. And that might happen. And I really want that to happen for you, but probably not going to happen for you. Probably not. Probably not. And why just not do something conservative? Why not just slow burn over time, doing the right thing over time, making good decisions over time? Why so fast? Why so rushed? Most people get a couple of years in. And I will say this, I'm going to finish on this because I just think, just have a look how good this is. $1 million revenue compounded 10% year on year puts you at 4 million year 15. You might want to pull the handbrake up there. You might want to pull the handbrake up at 2 million, whatever. But you probably want to pull the handbrake up when your business can run to an element without you for 2 to 4 weeks or something like that, because that's where the lifestyle comes in. But imagine this, you got a 20% net profit, and imagine if you pull the handbrake up in year 6, 7, or 8. Let's say year 10. Pull the handbrake up year 10, you got 470 grand net profit in the business, 145 grand market wage and super. Total for 616, you've accumulated $4.5 million at this point. So just sometimes you got to slow down to speed up. You're going to see some incredible results. You're going to look around you and see some incredible results. And I want to encourage you, be proud of those other people that have achieved that. It might not be your story, but it might be. And if you just put 1 foot after the other, you're probably on a pathway to letting that be your story. But you're going to see some friends cash in millions and millions and millions of dollars and sell this and create that. Some people are just so blessed, and you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want. Some people are just gifted and they're in the right spot at the right time, and you can throw them off a 2-story building and they'll land on their feet on a skateboard down the ramp. And just yeah, and everyone's like, Some people just have it. And But most people have to have the discipline to be diligent for long periods of time. That's most people's story. That's the majority of people. I want to wrap up on this. This is great, and I really want this for you. I really hope you can achieve something of significance out of your. I really hope your business can become an asset where you can live a life that you always hoped, and you can create a life for your employees, and you can do the right thing for your clients, and then you can go on holidays, and you can buy a house, and you can do this sort of cool stuff. You can spend more time with the kids, with the family, and you can be friends with your kids when they're adults, and be friends with your grandkids and take them on holidays. That's super cool. I really want that for you. And some people cash their chips out way too soon. Do you think because you run a business you can spend money and you can do whatever the hell you want? And a lot of people we see come across from either other coaching companies or come into our platform, like they're, I'm hesitant to say they've gone too far, but they're almost too far gone. And it's like you racked up a huge ATO debt, you owe this person money, you're a couple of $100,000 in debt, and you probably just cashed your chips in year 1 or 2 because you think running a business, there's some form of entitlement, some form of the world owes me, and you're going to have to go there internally. The issue is not, I promise you the issue is not that. The issue is not that you spend too much money. The issue is probably really deep. There's a problem with your relationship with money. There's a problem with how you see yourself. There's a problem with what you think your future holds. There's some sort of foundational issue that you're carrying, some sort of trauma, some sort of inherent trauma. Maybe you've learned it. Maybe it was always there. You need to change. And if you can see yourself getting out of a hole, you can do it. If you can see yourself running that business, you can do it. But you've got to see yourself as the trade God ordained person to carry your business forward into making money, building wealth, being kind, and living the life that you dream about. It's so cool. So much stuff can go wrong. So much stuff can go right. So look after yourself, put one foot after the other, be kind, enjoy yourself. If you want this spreadsheet, reach out. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Crow out. Bye. That's a wrap on another episode of the Sparky Coach podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. It would mean a lot to us if you could like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify and leave a comment if you think that pleases the electrical gods. And we hope this episode and all our episodes propel you in your trade God ordained destiny of making money, building wealth, and being kind. Thanks so much for all your support. See you guys soon.